Hello, Sarah.
Hello, Romaine. It has been a minute. It's so nice to
Yeah.
be here with you again.
So which colorful deck are you shuffling?
I just shuffled the Mushroom Spirit deck. I have two sets of cards that were already pulled when we were just chatting amongst the two of us, and I was gonna reshuffle them back in the deck, but they say no. So I have the mushrooms and a couple others here. So because I just started with mushrooms, I'll start with the
Yeah, go
mushroom, whatever
ahead.
it was I pulled.
Mhm.
I got Fairy Ink Cap, Subtlety. Fairy Ink.
Berry ink cap.
And I think,
Tasty.
yeah, 22. Let's see. 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay. So it's fragile. Interesting. Card meaning. Some things can come and go in the blink of an eye. One day they're there and the next day they're gone. The energy here is delicate and fairy-like. The subtle energy is here to create a magical atmosphere. Look at this. A beauty that sometimes goes unseen. Are you noticing the subtle energies around you, or are you too busy to notice? Fairy Incap reminds us that many smaller subtle acts can create massive shifts. This is a reminder to be subtle. Moving on something like a steamroller might not be the right course of action. Subtlety is key here and can be extremely powerful. Give it a try. Someone may be trying to tell you something that you're not hearing because it's very subtle. Much wisdom can be gained by observing and feeling the subtle energy around you. Every plant, tree, or flower is giving off subtle energy. People, pets, and places have subtle energy as well that can be felt when you quiet yourself enough to be in sense with it. Barry Incap says slow down, create stillness and mindfulness in your practices, and you will gain great wisdom from the energies around you. You don't need to go out and search for this energy. You'll find it if it hasn't already found you. Be ready to listen and take it on board because it could come and go before you even realize it. I'm also hearing like subtle energies about the situations that we're in. Like it may seem like experiences in the world or whatever it is we're going through appears this way, but there's actually this other subtle energy of whatever it is, growth, learning in some way. But if we don't quiet the, oh my goodness, this new and I have to, we're going to miss that subtle energy that is actually growing and progressing here.
Interesting, very interesting. Makes me think of like certain pains that we have. Like sometimes like the certain a nerve gets pinched or there's a tightness in a muscle and then you can't get rid of it by stretching. And then all of a sudden it disappears just because you adjusted the area in just in a subtle way. And then you feel like this instant relief that comes just from a tiny little movement
Hmm. And
instead
actually
of like,
trying to get rid of
yeah,
it made it worse.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
it's funny.
And
Subtlety.
so with that, there were a bunch of cards that came flying out, like I said, when we were having our
Yeah.
chat, and I was going to get rid of them, but the first one that came through, it actually fell out of the deck entirely, and it's amplifying abundance. Abundance is my birthright, and I receive it now. So I'm going to just go through the rest of these with
Yeah.
this understanding of subtleness. So subtleness of abundance, abundance is our birthright. It was growing beyond guilt. I couldn't have it happen any other way.
Hmm.
So abundance is growing. It couldn't happen any other way. We're demystifying the darkness. My shadow shows me where my love needs to be sent
Okay.
and dispelling sadness. I will feel better once I get the rest I need. So it's like one after the other after the other, exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah. It almost sounds like the lyrics for an affirmation song.
Yeah, because it really the subtle energies are it couldn't happen any other way. Abundance is your birthright. The shadow is showing you where your love needs to be sent, and you'll feel better. You just kind of have to rest a little.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. It's a good flow. And they just flew out. They fell.
They did completely.
Yeah.
The first one that got my attention that fell out completely was the amplifying abundance. So almost as if that
Hmm.
subtlety to notice is the abundance coming in. Whether it feels really crappy, what else are we getting? Are we getting new friends? Are we getting new
Hmm.
experiences? Is it actual money or is it more of a abundant feeling than actual
Yeah.
physical money?
And you wanted to throw the cards out.
I did. I'm so sorry, cards. My bad. And then a crystal. I have a couple others here, but I haven't pulled them yet. But this one was already flipped over. So we got Seraphos green quartz. Seraphos green quartz.
Oh yes. They're not well, I think I have one.
Oh, oh, cool. Oh, it's
I put it
beautiful.
have one. And
They're really
there
pretty.
when I got it, I was told that it energizes and it boosts the properties of surrounding
Oh,
of the stones you put it with.
hmm. Oh, it's so funny that it says this here. Oh my goodness. So it's number 50, and even just the essential meaning, it says life on life's terms, joie de vivre, and acceptance of our place in the world, and heaven on earth, what is meant to be. That's funny. As
Very good
long
on
as
the
we're,
French.
yeah, thank you. I really want to learn French, so I might need to do a swap with you where you teach me
Okay.
French. As long as we're human, we will face times when the only choice is to accept life on its own terms. But in that acceptance lies the most precious treasure, the gift of the now. Surrender to this moment exactly as it is, and your heart will open, releasing what you need to be left behind as you join the conscious universe on a journey of your own healing. Something wonderful is awaiting you, but first you must be present to what is, so that you have the experience and receive the gift of recognizing that you're stronger than you know. When the wheel of fortune turns, you may look back on this moment as crucial for your growth. Very often, unanswered prayers and unexpected twists of fate lead to destiny the heart seeks. Trust now in this process of acceptance. Trust the conscious universe has your back. I have full goosebumps, like right in reading that last bit. Unanswered prayers, unexpected twists of fate lead to the destiny the heart seeks. That's exactly it. We would never perceive what is happening as that. And the subtle energy is
Hmm.
imagine it's the greatest thing that would possibly
Hmm.
be ever happening. Hmm, hmm, hmm. So I'm curious in a body aspect, is there, I mean, we do know in our bodies if we quiet it down the difference between a yes or a no.
Hmm.
How do we like we're speaking of in middle of life transformation where the life transformation feels a little bit like, oh, I'm a failure, I'm having to do this again, or I can't believe I'm down this road, when really everything is saying this is a gift. How do we hop into the body feeling of not a failure and this is a gift?
It's a very good question, and I was in that state in the past weeks. And what what helped me is all the practices I had previously and the work I did on myself, um, training myself to go from the head and into the heart to move to the bodies. You know, the heart being pretty much at the center of the torso, taking away the legs that are more for mobility. All the main of the vital organs are in the torso, and the heart is around the center area. So it's pretty much the center of yourself. And when you consider the head being more of like a control tower for processing information, whenever we get into those analytical, I'm a failure and so on and so on, which can be a variety of sources of environment, how you grew up, the people that are around you, what you hear, what you watch, what you listen to, that and neurosis, all that stuff that goes in and helps that. when you take yourself out of your head and then you go into your heart and focus on the heart energy, the heart transmutes everything and puts you more in the process of yes, but.
Mm,
So, yes, you perceive yourself as a failure. Maybe at this moment right now, you have this feeling of being lesser than or having failed. When you go into the heart helps you say, okay, maybe it is this perception, but if you look at failure, failure says what? It says that you tried. So you
mm,
did something, you tried, and it didn't succeed, but you can try again.
mm,
If you feel lesser than, is like, well, maybe you feel lesser than, but if you feel lesser than, that means that once you were more than. So
mm,
if you once were more than, you can get back to that state and stepping out of the head and trying to shift the perspective, the perception you have of the said moment. It's just that moment, and that moment changes as each second passes by. It's a moment that changes, and then so going into the heart helps you come back to the new moment and the new moment and the new moment, and not stay and drag that state that is just a fleeting state that you can change as you go. And it also helps if
mm,
you have people around you that help you see that. It's very difficult by ourselves, but coming back to breath and focusing on the movement of the lungs, of the belly, puts you in the area of the heart where you need to be rather than up here where it's just analytical.
mm. And I really like to use the term that you use the term, yeah, but, where you're like, the heart isn't saying, that's not all true, don't worry about it, this is true. You're saying, that is all true. The things that you're thinking about are true, like you're saying, because of your perception, because of your experiences, because of the outer world is telling you these things are true. And I think if you come from the heart and just say, that's not true, you're going to have an internal fight within. And I really appreciate that sort of like stepping stone of, okay, come down and acknowledge that, yes, those are real, but let's hear it from the unwavering piece of who you are, like this whole centerpiece. And funnily enough, I pulled an animal card and I got the horse, trust your feelings. So that
Giddy
exact,
up.
like it's coming directly down into the heart. I'm gonna do it anyway. Oh, there it is. Prayer, facade. Okay, just two cards. I was waiting for two cards to come out of these chakras, and they're both yellow, which makes sense in feeling like failures and
Hmm.
whatever. We got prayer
Hmm.
and facade. The whole facade that we're not
Yeah.
good enough, we're not in the right place, it's all falling away
Mhm.
because we did make a prayer and it is being answered no matter what it looks like.
Yeah. Well, strangely enough, events, even as we perceive them as harmful and bad, and there could be a lot of discussions around that, but they're always presented to us in a manner for that triggers or gives a certain perspective for things we need to work on or that we need to hear or that we need to see to go to our next step. And it becomes tedious with when it's on a global scale with wars and very horrible things and death and so on. But it's all part of the the evolution of the planet. Recently, I've been watching the dinosaur and life on our planet documentaries on Netflix, and when you see the evolution, the global scale of it, it's always life, destruction, evolution, and at every cycle, evolution. But we live as humans, we live it in a tiny little scale that to us, to the perception that we have of time, seems like enormous, but it's just like a blip in the overall scale of uh of what of what goes on globally on Mother Earth, her own life. And when we're able to put that back into perspective, whenever for these facades that we project for ourselves and then really see them in that way, it's easier to say, okay, it's just a difficult moment. It too will pass if I don't wallow into it, if I don't just like make myself weirdly comfortable in that demise of staying in there or being able to say. So it's interesting that perception of time that is kind of like an accordion. At times, like, yeah, it's dragging. This day is never ending. And some days you're like, what? I just woke up and I have to go to sleep.
Yep. And time really is faster. Like the amount of things that this generation seems to be outgrowing from past generations would take generations to do
Hmm.
so. And we're going bam, one after the other after the other. And I appreciate what you said about like it's coming up so that we can look at it. If what's happening upstairs is saying, I'm a failure, I'm not good enough, it's literally coming up for us to address it. This situation had to unfold so you would say to yourself, I'm a failure for this
Hmm.
happening. So you could say, oh, I said I'm a failure for this
Hmm.
happening, but really that's not it. That's literally just what needs to be addressed, that fact. And it won't come up if unless an awkward situation comes up where you're going to have to. And like you're saying, war is happening or potential to happening, all of this craziness around the world. And I keep hearing, as without, so within, we can't be addressing this like, oh, what am I going to do to help the war? It's what can I do with the war within? And it seems very separate. But just as you're saying, when life shifts and now we're in a new situation where we feel like a failure, that's the war. We're meant to address this situation that's coming up, not the war, because that's too much. Yeah. Wow. Trust your feelings. Follow the prayer. It actually is what it is. Subtle energies, amplifying the abundance, letting go of the sadness, growing beyond the guilt that we have. We're just releasing all of this useless fluff.
Useless.
Useless fluff. This is a lot of, I will say it's big. I love when color comes out in the way that it's
Yeah.
supposed to. Because the ink cap is white, but it still has a bit of
Uh-huh.
green to it. This is about like the
Hmm.
information, and the horse has its bit of
It's a
like purple
purpleness,
subtlety
yeah.
to it. And then we sink into the heart, and we
Hmm.
have this
Yellow.
yellow solar plexus. So it's very much this let's upheave
Yeah.
the way we feel about ourselves in whatever situation it looks like.
And what's interesting is when you say this energy, that overflowing, that fluff, and then sometimes we have tendencies of not letting it express fully or to a certain extent and kind of hold on to it, and that's when it gets stuck into the body, that those energy knots or energy blockages, and that's how they stay because we're not allowing them to go to the overflow. So then that's where all those tensions and ailments and physical difficulties pop up because we're suppressing these things.
That's very valid because I had a recent experience with hypnosis, and I after the hypnosis experience I then had an energy experience with someone else. And after the hypnosis, the energy experience like brought up surface level
Hmm.
things that I felt a lot of things about. But then once that was out, all kinds of deeper rooted things that I hadn't thought about since I was a kid or whatever came flowing outwards because the release needed to be the things on top so that what's really sitting down here affecting the rest of the vessel needs to be released as well. And I think the hypnosis really helped because prior I would have thought, oh, here is my emotion about the top level things. I'll
Hmm.
sit in the emotion and then I'll just shove it down and go, okay, there's my emotion about these things. But because I got through that, they came out and then what's left is underneath is what really needs to be seen. So like
Hmm.
you're saying, if we sit in the, oh yeah, I'm a failure, or oh yeah, this is what's happening here, you're not even getting to what it is that's trying to come out.
Hmm.
How can you know, this one's a very long
Yeah.
one. How can you know physically if there is more under the surface, or is there just always more?
There's always more because it's, and this is why it's very interesting because it's it's a constant flow of energy. So energy flows through us day by day, and even there's always things that from birth that it's we I can't I'm having difficulties putting it into words. It's kind of like imagine the body as this big memory buffer that's always active. Whenever something, whatever, everything we see, we hear, we touch, we feel builds in the memory buffer. And experiences and feelings, and they come, they stay there a while, they stay, some information stays because we need reference, and some information, it's we don't need the reference anymore, it's just natural, it's things that we feel naturally, so they come through, we live the experience, oh wow, that was fun, and then it goes. But it's constant since our birth because that's the way we evolve. But this, and depending on the environment, the education, people who bring us up, the teachers we have, the friends we have, and everything we live, certain things just stay there because of a fear of security, protection. So when on your first encounter with a bully or a meanie, that feeling is going to be kept in the memory buffer so that you know how to react accordingly with the next one, if there is a next one. So depending on that first experience, whether it's either energizing or traumatizing. If it's traumatizing, then it's that trauma that's going to be suppressed. If it's energizing, it's going to give another result. Let's say in that memory buffer, growing up, you need to get rid of the bully trauma. So you do hypnosis, you get the surface level, and then that first encounter can surface up. Once that one is freed, it frees space in the memory buffer to stock somebody to store something else. So something else is going to take the place. And as we grow older, as we get wiser or better, the replacement we put in is something to be that will energize. So there's always something, whether it's to energize you or whether it's just to secure you, protection, but there's always something in the memory, but in the this whole structure that we have. Because if there was nothing, then we would have nothing to live for, or nothing, no purpose for experiencing things. It's that emptiness. And for some people, have such an overstock, or the memory so filled that there's this sense of there's nothing in there because everything's being suppressed, and it equates like the completely full, unaware, unconsciously full, and completely empty, depleted, results in the same thing. This sense of there is absolutely nothing. So that's
Mm.
why the flow of it, the expression of it, allowing it to flow out and so that it can flow back in, and this whole circle. And if you look at the energy flow of the human body is this toro, I can't even say it, so I'll stay with donut. Donut field that goes from like this and then back, this whole energy field, so it's a flow, it's a big flow, and whenever there's a block, that's where the energy gets diverted to something, to another passage, and that's where the imbalances and the other unfun stuff happen.
It's interesting because I can see and feel it almost as if like even if you have some childhood trauma, but then you turn that childhood trauma into like a positive aspect of yourself. I'm going to be this way, but you kind of repressed it to out of safety in whatever way it was, and then you become this person, this positive whatever it is person, you're still going to have to dig through this positive feeling because there's going to be something that feels off in some way that's going to be very difficult to get through until you get down here to the root as to what it is. Like you're saying, there's this blockage of that flow, and even though you're like, oh, it's fine, I'm positive and I'm flowing with my energies, you really just always have to get to the root of who you are, and life is going to pull that out of you. You don't really have to choose that. Life's going to go, oh, you're ready for this now, you're ready for this now, here you go. Funny. um I just pulled three mantras just for the end of this
Okay.
fun thing. It says, owning my power inspires others to do the same. I'm not afraid to shine.
Ooh, nice.
Both in crap and not. Like it's
Yeah.
okay. It's okay. We can show all of it. It is safe to slow down, relax, and let go. We are
Mm,
safe, although maybe it doesn't feel so. And then I have another one down here. Attacking others is an attack on myself. I choose to release this now. So whether things come up and you think, oh, it's this person, it's not. We're not attacking anyone. It's all being seen with love and light. Um, and then the last one is I can't control the world, but I can control how I choose to perceive it. That's a
really
good way to
nice.
end it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you,
Perfect.
Sarah.
Thank you, Romaine. This was I love the back and forth chat this time.
This was fun. Until the next one.
Yes.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye.